I've definitely been called worse names before in my life. So, hello, and again, welcome to services today. Those who are here and those who are listening online. I know I send a special hello out to my family that's stuck at home. I've got my son has decided to throw a fever this morning, so Kate stayed home with him so that she could feed him the vitamins and get him all well in time for this Friday coming up. Okay. Hopefully he'll be better enough to come on Monday, too. It's been great weather that we've had leading up to this season of God's Holy Days. We're all starting to have feast fever. We're all starting to get excited and wanting to hurry up and get it here. But we must have patience. It's going to take a little bit of time before it's time to go. It's going to take time to get there. And it's going to take time off from the rest of the world. When I was young, and in elementary and middle school age, I tended to look forward to all my time off. I wasn't necessarily in the church, but I looked forward to the holidays, the vacations, summer vacation especially. It was a long time off. In high school, dances were added to the mix. I just wanted to be done with whatever school was going on and just get back to doing some of the fun things. I didn't have the patience to wait for these things to happen. I didn't have the patience to really try and concentrate on my schoolwork. I was never the A student when I was in high school and junior high. I was more of the average Joe who eked by with the C's. I had the upper level brothers and sisters who were way over my head giving me nosebleeds. Generally, like I said, I didn't have the patience that I should. I just wanted to have it all over with. I still struggle with patience as an adult. It's difficult to wait for things to be done. At work, I have a lot of different projects that I work on, a lot of little places where I have to do here and there, and I have to wait for other people to get their parts of those projects done. It's difficult to wait. It's difficult to have patience and let things happen in their own time. Some of the things that I have lacked patience for in the past have been finding a good job, having a family, and a home. Really, what I was waiting on was contentment. Trying to figure out how I could be content with what I did or didn't have. Was I as patient as I waited? No, I can't say that I ever really was. I was anxious to have things happen in my time. But God gives us a great deal in this life. Do we wait for God to give us the things that we are supposed to have? Do we fret over how long it's taking Him to give us these things? And what happens if we're not patient? If we turn to Psalms 37, see if I can find it again. Psalms 37, beginning in verse 7, we read, "Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret when men succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it only leads to evil. For evil men will be cut off, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. A little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found, but the meek will inherit the land and enjoy great peace." So as God is saying that we must have this patience and wait for His time and what's going to happen for us, that we must show this great patience and love for God. We know that if we are impatient, it's going to lead us to angry thoughts. We can become angry at ourselves, angry at others, or even angry at God. What's taking so long? Why can't I have this now? In the end, sometimes we doubt our self-worth. Are we even worth the time that we put into it, that God puts into us, that our families put into us? We become jealous of what others have, because we're waiting for that to come to us. Why do they have it and I don't? Covetous. We want what others have. And we must not show that covetousness. We must be loving to others and want what God gives us and be content with that. In the end, possibly, we may decide that God doesn't even care for us at all. When I was growing up and in my impatient times, I was not in this church. My wife brought me into this church with a new family that we created together. We came in here because, for one thing, my daughter and my stepdaughter and her extended family were coming to the congregation also. We came in here because it was the place that we felt loved. It's the place that we felt cared for. It's the place that we felt God leading us. How do we combat these feelings that we have of God not caring, of our anxiousness, of our doubt of our self-worth? Personally, I find that prayer and study are good places to start. Looking through the Bible, listening to other people speak, paying attention to what's going on around us, and throughout the Bible, God does show us how his loyal followers show patience. Throughout Genesis and Exodus, where his followers were restless at times, but they were patient in when God was going to release them. In Psalms, he reminds us throughout that he keeps his own schedule. If we turn to Ecclesiastes 7, Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 8, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Through this, again, he shows us that we must be patient, that he has his own schedule, that if we wait patiently and are watching patiently, that we will receive what he has promised us. Through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, we are shown many ways that Jesus himself shows patience while he teaches. Jesus was ever patient with his disciples. He was patient with the Pharisees, with the Sadducees, and with the public in general. They didn't understand, and he realized they didn't understand, that the plan was in place, the plan was going to happen, and it was going to be in God's time. Another way is spending time with our families. Both blood and church families, they aid you to persevere through this patience. Spending time together with my family helps to bolster me. When I am weak, when I have my own self-doubts that come along, I come home to my family and they bolster me. If one of us is down in the dumps or having a hard time, the others are there to cheer them up. My church family, they help me in the same way. I show up for services, whether I'm speaking, leading songs, whether I'm just here to be part of the congregation. They come to me and show me the love that they have, the love that God and that we share with God. God gives us both of these families. These families are ways that we are taught and the way that we teach patience. Through all these things, we see that our faith guides us to this patience. Through this fellowship, we learn to patiently, yet diligently, wait for God's plan to be fulfilled. In Hebrews, the 6th chapter, Hebrews 6, if we can turn there, 6 beginning in verse 11. 6, verse 11. We want each of you to show this same diligence to the very end, in order to make your hope sure. We do not want you to become lazy, but to imitate those who through faith and patience inherit what has been promised. When God made his promise to Abraham, since there was no one greater for him to swear by, he swore by himself, saying, I will surely bless you and give you many descendants. And so, after waiting patiently, Abraham received what he was promised. This is the same type of promise that we have. We are given this promise that God will supply us with our needs. God will supply us with what we are to have, and he will supply that in our own time. Are we perfect? No. We will still have anxious moments waiting for things to happen, waiting for God to have his plan be fulfilled, waiting for our coworkers to finish their work, waiting for feasts to get here. We will all have these anxious moments. But we must remember, as we read in Ecclesiastes, the end is better than the beginning, and the result of our patience will be the kingdom of God. Through our friends, family, and especially God, we can have the patience to wait for the glory waiting for us when we are called to live with Him, with God, on the last great day. Thank you.
Okay, brother. Thank you, Mr. Washburn, for that. Please rise. A hymn before the announcements. Hymn number 90. Thee will I love, O Lord. Hymn